Hi everyone, Heather here. Welcome back to Best Laid Plans. Today I am going to be sharing with you my plan with me for the month of November, and this is going to be an opera-inspired spread. So if you have not seen any of my previous opera spreads, I'll leave a link to the playlist, a card here. Basically, I just do what I normally would do with a plan with me, but while I'm planning, I go through the plot of the opera and the characters and share some of the music. So it's sort of an introduction to my favorite operas, but also a plan with me. So obviously that means that the spread will be inspired by a certain opera, and I was partly inspired by one of my beautiful pens that I recently got. This is Violetta, and so I thought, well, if I have a Violetta pen, I should do a La Traviata spread. So that is what we are going to be doing. It may not be like perfectly seasonal for November, but I was just feeling La Traviata. So that is what we're going to do. I have pulled a few different stickers and books. So I'm going to be using this kit. I think at least some of these flowers may be camellias, which is what I would associate with Violetta. But this is the Autumn Florals kit from Growing Modestly, and I'm going to be using this for the monthly spread, kind of as the base. I also pulled some washi. This is Prima Marketing's washi, and it's just musical. It's got butterflies, it's got a corset, so it's very like Victorian and musical, which is what I would associate with La Traviata. I also pulled the 3 antiquarian sticker books, including the newest, Imaginarium. And full disclosure, I did receive this from the designer and I guess the publisher. They contacted me through Instagram because I had been sharing a lot of their stuff and sent me a copy of this. So I did not pay for this. However, any opinions I share about it obviously are mine. This video is not sponsored, but I did want to point that out. This is the 3rd installment. There were 3. So Bibliophilia is the 2nd. And then this is the 1st. If you like vintage antiquarian, like offbeat novelty, like unique stickers, these are perfect. And what I'm going to be doing with these primarily is just spelling out the name of the opera, which is La Traviata, in letters. And they have some great letter stickers for this. So I will be using all 3 books. I'll also be using some decorative stickers from these books as well. So that is everything that I pulled in addition to my regular materials. And I will go ahead and get started. If you only want to see the after the pen and you don't want to have any spoilers for the opera, I will let you decide to skip and let you know when. I will say you probably know a lot about this opera already, just because it is referenced in so many popular culture things, from Pretty Woman to Moulin Rouge. So you've likely heard the music from it before. You may know some of the story, but in case you don't want spoilers, go ahead and skip to here. But other than that, let's go ahead and get started. And by the way, I'm doing the narration after I film this because I have getting over a cold and I want to sound a little bit more first act than third act, if you get my opera reference. So I will hopefully be in much better health filming the latter part of this, but I did want to go ahead and do the layout and everything today. So I will go ahead and we'll get started. This month's featured opera has inspired everything from Pretty Woman to Moulin Rouge and more. La Traviata, or The Fallen Woman, is a 3-act opera by Italian composer Giuseppe Verdi. It premiered in 1853 and has enjoyed immense popularity and cultural influence since then up to this day. The story concerns a famous Parisian courtesan named Violetta Valerie. She is throwing another lavish party at her salon where she falls for one of her many admirers, a young provincial lord named Alfredo Germont. Though caught up in her life of luxury and merrymaking, she eventually succumbs to Alfredo's charms and wooing, giving him a flower and telling him to return to her once it's wilted, which, of course, would mean the very next day. All the while, we find Violetta questioning if she could give up her sense of freedom to follow her love for Alfredo. The end of Act 1 aria, Sempre Libera, showcases this dilemma she faces. By Act 2, it's clear Violetta has found a measure of happiness with Alfredo, as the two of them are now together at Violetta's house in the country. She has even sent her maid to sell the vestiges of her former life in Paris to support her and Alfredo's new life in the country. When Alfredo realizes she's doing this, he'll have none of it and decides to leave for Paris to settle the matter himself. While he is away, Violetta receives a letter inviting her to a party in the city at her friend Flora's house, as well as an unexpected visit from Giorgio Germont, Alfredo's father. I'm going to be putting this sticker down pretty soon, but I wanted you to see I had these just assorted ones in my sticker collection, but I thought that this would be perfect for Violetta. It appears that Violetta, who while enjoying social prestige as a courtesan is no less a sex worker, cannot escape the shame of her former lifestyle. Alfredo's own sister's engagement is now threatened because of her reputation. Side note, Giorgio Germont is one of my favorite characters. He's facing a choice between his daughter's happiness and security and his son's, and it's really clear he hates to be in the position he's in. He also shows an extremely great deal of compassion for Violetta. Eventually, she agrees to end the relationship with Alfredo. She RSVPs to Flora's party and sends a note to the man she loves, telling him it's over. When Alfredo reads her letter later, he loses it, and before his father even has a chance to explain the situation, he storms out to go after her. He finds her back in her previous life, on the arm of a baron, a former lover, and says he will take her home with him. Fearful he is going to incite the baron to a duel, she begs to meet him in private to explain. Unwilling to listen, Alfredo takes a wad of cash and throws it at her, publicly declaring he's paid for her services. Everyone is appalled at his behavior, including his father, who has followed him there and says he is behaving contemptuously. Violetta tries to convey that he can't possibly understand how much she loves him and the true reasons for her actions. By Act 3, we learn a sad truth. Violetta is dying of consumption and has weeks left at most. She reads a letter from Alfredo's father explaining that his son now understands the sacrifice she's made. Alfredo returns to her and offers his love, but it's too late by then. In his arms, she passes away as the opera ends. Violetta's character is complex and sympathetic. We want her to be happy just as she wants to be happy, yet the circumstances of her place in society and the realities of her wasting illness take that hope away. And yet, the opera never shames her the way her society does. She is selfless, courageous, heroine from start to finish. I think this is one of the reasons La Traviata is so popular and why Violetta is such a favorite role for many sopranos. Now it's time to get back to planning and watching Pretty Woman for like the 1,000th time. So this is pretty much everything before the pen. I'm not worried about adding boxes or anything. I think throughout the rest, I'm just going to scatter the rest of the Autumn Florals kit from Growing Modestly, and then we'll go to pen. Alright, so here is the spread before the pen, all done, and I think it is beautiful and definitely speaks to the opera. And now that I'm thinking about it, there is something about the the fall florals where you have like a flower in its prime, but it's also starting to die because it's winter coming. That I feel fits the opera very well. So I'm not upset that I chose this for November. I think it's perfect. And I really love the stickers from Imaginarium and the other antiquarian sticker books. They just work perfect for this. And I think it's simple, but it still has that musicality to it. You guys know I love to have my floating florals and everything. Really adds to the musicality of a spread. So I am going to now take my Violetta pen from Via Beautiful, as would fit our title character, and I will be doing my After the Pen. So I mentioned this during the opera, but I'll mention it again for those who skipped. I am going to be writing in some of the flowers or adding like stickers to them. So if there's anything on those dates. So let's go ahead and get started. So I accidentally smudged right here for voting, but I wrote because Violetta couldn't, because women back then did not have those type of rights. She was a very, I still find her to be one of the most interesting and dynamic female characters, not just in opera, but like of all time. And I think that's why we keep on returning to La Traviata for so many themes in popular culture today. But I am going to just kind of find something maybe to cover this and get a sticker for like Thanksgiving, and I think that will be set. And here is the finish after the pen. I added just a couple stickers from the Fall Harvest sticker book, added an umbrella and some mittens, and I added Have a Thankful Heart, So Thankful, and then I just added this over my little smudge so that I could have a little highlight for election day, and I wrote that in Mildliner. But I am finished, and I hope you all enjoyed. I'm gonna let Heather with a good voice do the outro. Hey everyone, it's slightly better Heather here, but you can follow me on Instagram at Valkyrie Plans for more spreads. I will be back with another planner video next Wednesday. I hope to see you then. And like, comment, subscribe, share this video, and I'll see you on the next one. Happy November. Bye.